sound and ukulele as an intro to Friday, the 15th of July, 2022. Not much good news on the front pages, but the golf, I suppose, if you're a golfer, a bit of a bright note about Rory McIlroy, and also the cricketers doing very well, roaring back. We've given them up for loss. Now look at them. It's going to be 25 today, 2 degrees lighter than yesterday, but nonetheless still very warm. And that modest breeze, so do be careful. And in fact there is an official weather warning out, dangerous weather, not because we're getting a gale, but because it's so hot. You're listening to Rouser Radio, which comes out of the White Hart Hotel in Lewes in East Sussex. And there we are, that's Ben Sound. And the lovely people at Ben Sound allow us to use their music for free. Well, at least we're non-profit, and we're sure as hell non-profit. So let's see where we're at, and trying to get some sense out of everything for the last day of the week. Last day of the week. Isn't it wonderful when you say it that way? The last day of the week. The trouble is that quite often everything piles up so that the last day of the week is the worst day of the week. Not the best, as it should be. Although there are an awful lot of people still not going to work. I'll work from home. Ha 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 ha. I'd love to do a check on some of these people saying they're working from home. See how many are. Not many, I suspect. All right, then here we are. Where are we? Oh. And that's for my entrance. Keith Hayes at the steering wheel up until 11:30 this morning, between here at the Rouser Radio and Mirador Television, which takes over at 8:30 with Break an Egg. And it's all terribly irreverent and not at all what you might expect from some of the traditional broadcasters, so don't expect it. Right, let's take a look at the headlines now. Newspaper headlines. The knives are out for Mordaunt and the NHS braces for heat. It's interesting that when some of these politicians find out what life is like at the top, they're left alone in relative obscurity, and then suddenly they threaten the establishment. And Penny Mordaunt, I'm beginning to like her more all the time. Penny Mordaunt is finding out what it's like then to come under the microscope. She doesn't run her department very well. She's often late to work. Oh goodness me, she doesn't carry a handkerchief. All the BS stuff that you get from politicians, all focused on one poor little soul. Somebody's going to say she is not a poor little soul at all, but it's studio that we were coming out of. And already my eyes are dim, I cannot see. I have not brought my specs with me. Well, I have brought my specs actually, and I still can't see. And I had an operation 2 weeks ago, and it's slowly beginning to mend and heal. And when they're finished, I'm told that I should be able to see like a newborn baby. Not that I know what a newborn baby looks like. I mean, actually, yeah, it looks like, or sees like. So, well, it gives us an opportunity to get training out of the way. you heard, and I think we make a correction right now because there is a double uh, window on the courthouse opposite, and it's sort of an attractive one. And because of the heat, it's open. And one wonders whether, in fact, there are criminals that are eyeing this security situation, saying, "Aye, aye, now is the time to actually do a scarper because we there won't be anybody there really to look after us." And secondly, if we're on the road, once we get on the road, there's not a lot of people who want to pay attention to us. So there we go. That's if you want to escape jail. Why did I tell you that? And a boost for trust in the business struggle with Mordaunt. So Penny Mordaunt, who nobody gave a chance to, has come roaring up on the outside rail. And those who thought it was a fait accompli to get into the final runoff aren't so sure after all. Okay, the Times, a boost for Truss in a bitter struggle with Mordaunt. What was the boost for Truss? Let's find out, shall we? All right. The It says it's a bitter a bitter rivalry. Well, um, the Times reports that supporters of the Foreign Secretary have criticised Miss Mordaunt's record as a minister, calling her utterly incompetent. So Mrs. Truss has come. Um, so where are we? Yeah, I was busy reading up on Penny Mordaunt, the Daily Mail. Mordaunt under the microscope. Her old boss, Lord Frost, says he has grave reservations about her as Prime Minister. Rival, rival Braverman backs Truss and says Penny doesn't stand up for women's in trans debates. Oh my goodness me! If it all comes down to that, who's saying that? Braverman. He's one of the remaining in the pack at the moment. Good stuff. Good stuff, Mr. Braverman. Yeah. Questions over her backers and lack of cabinet support. Well, that's not going to hurt. Lack of cabinet support. In fact, one commentator this morning on the BBC is making that very point that because she's not tarred with the incompetence of the cabinet and Boris, she's much more popular as a grassroots representative. But there we are. There we are. Mordaunt under the microscope, says the Mail. Moving on to the Metro. Um, Pennies in Heaven. Oh, it's got a play on words, and it is saying that uh, the Tory members that suggested Penny Mordaunt would be the favourite if she reaches the final two in the race to succeed Boris Johnson. So the way it works is that out of the six that are left, is we get two, and those two they go head to head to get the job. Well, not a bad system, perhaps. The Eye. Tory rivals turn on Mordaunt as favourite faces a TV trial. Oh dear, 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 dear. The TV debates this weekend. A poll for the paper suggests Penny Mordaunt would also be favourites with the British public. Oh, well, it seems as if there's a bit missing there. Daily Express, knives out for penny. Not up to the job, say rivals. Well, they would, wouldn't they? Yeah, the thing is that actually those people who are saying that aren't up to the job either. So we're in for a penny and pound. Uh, the Express reports that figures on the right of the Conservative Party as unnamed heads, gentlemen, like George. The paper says, while the knives are out for a penny, it's not up to the job, say rivals. But also they say that um, the, the right wing is not getting behind uniting behind this trust. So it's all sort of wide open at the top. The Daily Telegraph. Frost urges Badenoch to stand down for Truss. Oh, well, there's tactical voting again. There we go. Get our man in at all costs. He may be the worst in the field, but let's give it a try. The mirror on the wall. It didn't cost me anything, did you? No, I don't think so. I looked for a mirror. The only one I could find was in the bathroom, and that was totally unsuitable for my purpose. Right, the red hot alert that we heard about um, is the mirror. It takes a view on that um, and says NHS doctors fear a surge in heat-related illnesses and deaths as the Met Office warns of hot weather causing danger to life, says the Mail. Is that right? No, the Mirror, sorry. The Sun. Vardy bushfire terror. The Sun's front page is also heatwave related, leading with a story about WAG Rebecca Vardy preparing to evacuate her holiday home in Portugal due to nearby bushfires. So one headline had Britain for a blaze or something like that on the basis that we have a lot of investment in Portugal. The Guardian, jail water firm bosses over pollution, says Watchdog. The water companies have been accused of systematically over a period of years dumping raw sewage into our waterways, and now they're going to be brought to book. Whether it can be done after this time, who knows? But anyway, they're mad set about pollution and harm to the animals. Financial Game Times, must say Spanish. Morgan Stanley and JP Morgan results get off the ground. That's the Financial Times. It says the results are pretty grim reading for Wall Street, which has already been battered by economic matters. And it's all going to end up in tears. All end up in tears. The Daily Star in Marta Chef John. I'm a werewolf. Oh ho ho. Well done, the Star. They dig these things up. The Daily Star headlines on. I'll try again. Policy remarks are made by Master Chef's John Terrari or Tirodi that he is a werewolf. In an interview, the TV personality said he is becoming a more state-of-the-art attack dog. And so that's the headlines, and that's the bits and pieces that we have for you this morning in terms of news. Let's Yeah, I'm afraid, Stuart, you didn't have anybody here at your department, but they should have been. I'm quite sure that they'll find some 10, 10 moots of, because you haven't got to go to Europe. We wake up and we're here already. Okay, we happen to know some people who took part in I'm a Werewolf, me included, and so very light-heartedly, I think that we can proudly say that the papers have got a good spread and have done the news proud. Ha 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 he he he. Okay, have we got the lot? I think so. That's right. Sorry, did we get? I don't know. Did we? I think it's time to go for some music. When I'm in the rambling mode, it is not good for anybody. Zula the Mini Vandals. Put the microphone on. Right, we were beating our guns there. We forgot to put the microphone on. It's saying that you are listening to Rouser Radio, which comes on the air for 3/4 of an hour each morning from 7:30 until just before 8:30, when it switches to Mirador Television, which is the television service for Lewis and surrounding area, but also the rest of the world. We were looking at the stats the other day. We've got people in Patagonia, we've got people in Paraguay, got people in Angola, mm, plenty in America. It just shows you Tom Paine rules, and is he's showing that his power of appeal is as strong as ever it was. Good old Tom. Aha. I'm looking for the time. Here we are. It's 07:52. 07:52. Now, what have we got on the inside? Once you cut through the crap. Now, who is? But guess who's still the mail reader's top choice for number 10? Might as well go with the mail as any other paper. And then there were five. Okay, Rishi Sunak stays on with 101 votes. Penny Mordaunt coming up on the rail with 83. Liz Truss at 64. Kenny Badenoch, 49. Tom Tugendhoff, 32. And eliminated was Stella Braverman with 27. There we go. But who is the male reader's top choice? Right in the thick of a leadership race, the Malta of the male readers, favourite for Prime Minister is still Boris Johnson. I'm not a bit surprised. I was going to say, is it within the rules for Boris to stand? Because actually, why not? Then it would tell whether the people, a number of MPs, and decided that they were wrong in bringing this election on. Despite being pushed out of the job last week by his party colleagues, who panic anyway and get silly. I really don't have much faith in any of the Rousers. I really don't. It's pretty poor. Right. Smiling Spacey denies sex attacks. Kevin Spacey, yeah, it's difficult noted to say. I am pretty damn sure that from some of my antics in the 60s, if they ever came to light, is all these do-gooders from the new age would have me up in court in no time flat. The thing is that they were perfectly acceptable in those days. Didn't think twice about it. Patients give up trying to see a GP. Damning NHS figures find 55% avoid making an appointment over the phone delays and how long they have to wait. The Sri Lankan president, by the way, who skipped off out of the country after being held under siege by protesters, has resigned. He did it by email. Huh. Italy in crisis as the Prime Minister tries to quit. Oh, right, okay. Here we go again. Italy was plunged into a political crisis last night after Prime Minister Mario Draghi offered his resignation, but the president refused to accept it. Here's Max. Good morning, Max.
Morning.
Oh dear, Ivana Trump has died. Age 73, she's found dead. That's quite young, particularly since she had the best of everything. She died yesterday after being found unconscious at the bottom of stairs in her apartment. Well, it looks as if she perhaps fell downstairs. That's what we're supposed to believe. And naturally, skinny people are not more active than us. They just eat 12% less. How will they go? I wanted to know that. That was totally important. Right. Officers question her Navy claims. Oh, dear, 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 dear. And here is, in my view, this is a gentleman called Jason Groves, writing in the Mail, in a little column, says, after all this vitriol, who will put Humpty Dumpty Tory party back together again? And he's quite right. So her career to date has come under little scrutiny. So Tory MPs should read this troubling dossier before putting a cross next to her name again. That's Andrew Pierce is exposing Miss Mordaunt. Gosh. You can't do anything nowadays without the past coming rolling in. So when did Rishi decide to knife old boss Boris? Oh, I feel like a prom queen, says Tom, as he's wooed by all sides. Who's Tom? Let's see. Tom Tugendhat. Ah, right. He could be a kingmaker if he gets his people to the place in. If they'll follow his direction, he could change the face of the present election for next prime minister, really, to all intents and purposes. And Little John says this isn't a TV reality show. MPs are picking our next prime minister, so it's time they all go up a little. He's quite right. Not right. They're not going to. They've been this way for the last 20 years. Probably even before that. But they are a bunch of children now, and lightweights at that. Some children do have intelligence. Oh dear, where are we? It's exactly 8 o'clock on the 15th day of the 7th month in the year 2022. And we are motoring towards the magic 8:30 when Mirador Television comes bundling onto the air with Max Hurd and Keith Hayes this morning. And from New York, we will be joined by Melissa Conti. Anybody else that I missed out? Max? No, that's a lot for the moment, but we have been very fortunate in the last little while of plucking people from the halls of glory of this old hotel and saying, come and be on TV, and they've all said yes. So perhaps we'll get a couple this morning. But we better play some music, otherwise we'll be accused of... here we are. Wow, gosh, there's not very much left. It all seems to have disappeared. Well, let's go with Breeze. Why not? There is none this morning. How is you? telecasted. And that was telecasted to the world, and it's 8 minutes. And the front pages, of course, full, generally speaking, of the race to be the next Prime Minister of the United Kingdom. And if we look at the papers carefully, we'll also see the weather is causing considerable concern, but also the Financial Times has noted that the economy is not only in bad shape, it's getting worse. And it's being ignored at the moment by people who, first of all, don't understand it, I don't think. The only thing that they'll understand is when they get to the shops and they find out that what cost £1 yesterday is costing £2.50 tomorrow. That's the sort of thing that hits them between the eyes. Other than that, don't pay any attention to business broadcasting, which probably, particularly at this time of the year, is the most serious and senior type of broadcasting that you possibly could get. So that's okay. The cricket is doing pretty well against England, against India. Rory McIlroy scorching the home of golf, the course there, St Andrews, and if he can keep his nerve, he should actually. He needs, I think, two more major wins to equal a record of some sort. So, very much in charge. My life, your life, and his life. All right. Have we got everything on that we should? Yes, we have. And it is coming up for us, but we've still got 5 minutes. How was your bus journey this morning, Max?
Long. Long. But there's no traffic. It's very early in the morning. It's hot as well on the bus because there's lots of people. It just gets all. It's like a sauna.
Yeah, right.
A day like today.
Okay. And your bus pass, the fiver, is that kick in?
Yeah. No, the bus from Cookfield to Lewis cost me £8.30 every morning, and that.
But didn't you discover some?
Yeah, so I've saved £5 every day, so that's £15 a week I'm saving. From a Voyager, it's called a Voyager ticket.
Right.
For an extra 10p, I can get any Brighton Hove bus and any Metro bus for free. But for an extra 10p when I buy my first ticket, it's like a London day pass. It lasts the whole day, and you can use it on different services.
Sounds pretty good.
Yeah.
What's happening on the trains? Do you know?
I have no idea. I'm not getting them.
No, I don't know. It's funny, isn't it? After all the hoo-ha about the strikes, we don't really have much information on them, and we don't have really much of people grabbing us and saying, "Hey, they want this and they want that, and they're going to walk out again." It's all gone terribly quiet. That's ominous when it comes to the RMT. They're no dummies. They know exactly where they're going. All right, let's do Ben Sound and Jazzy Fendi, and that will take us up to pretty good. right, Ben Sound and Jazzy Frenchy. And it's bringing us up to 9 minutes past 8 o'clock. So we'll be disappearing in a minute or two. But what are the headlines? What are the newspapers? Well, they're all ganging up on Penny Mordaunt because she's come from nowhere, shocked the hell out of them. But it just shows that the public don't want or prefer not to have those candidates who are tarred with a brush of being in the old cabinet, either because they were disloyal when they were there or because they screwed up and were a rotten minister. At least she's got it clean. But if you're in the mood to help, get stuff shifted down in New Haven or whatever, that's where they were concentrating this morning. I think of getting a little bit of a survey going. I think I noticed it on the BBC. So do your own survey, because so far the one that I like is a survey that has taken who has come out on top as being the favourite to be prime minister. Boris. And that is a grassroots one. That's people in the street, not the political elite, who always get it wrong anyway. Well, they don't get it wrong. They know exactly what they're doing. They're just feathering their own nests. But anyway, if Boris had entered this fray, he would be the front runner to be prime minister. And perhaps unfortunately, most MPs are quite arrogant. They are taught that they are elite. They've got subsidised food and subsidised bars, and they live in this plush area called Westminster, and are treated with deference by staff, and it goes to their head. So anyway, the papers cover the election with Penny Mordaunt, and everybody is now picking on Penny, going after her because she's the favourite. The other is the heat. Watch out for the heat. And my guy Max tells me that next week it's going to be in the 30s. This week it stopped at, well, down here it stopped at 27. It did reach 30 in some parts of Britain. And that was very, very warm enough, I may say. Very warm enough. And it's going to get worse during the week, so do be careful. And finally, in the newspapers, the Financial Times gets to grip with the fact that the economy is getting worse and worse, and there's very little seems to be done about it. And somebody's got to get their finger out pretty soon. Otherwise, we'll have problems the like of which we've never known before. So that's it for the papers, and a little bit of music, a little bit of commentary, a little bit of this, and a little bit of that. So we will be, we'll see you on Monday. We have television coming up in 15 minutes' time. We hope we'll see you there. We have Max with his usual astute youngsters commentary. We have Melissa from New York, and of course the old curmudgeon floats around in the background, saying things that are contradictory to what everybody else is saying. So there we are. That's who we are, what we are. It's 8:13. It's the 15th of July. It's 2022, a year that will go down in history as being a year of disasters. I am quite sure. The only thing that hasn't happened is, like the dinosaurs, we haven't all been wiped out. Righto, let's say goodbye. Goodbye. And rather than just goodbye, let's say toodle-pip.